Seat. Sitting alongside me today, Steve Musson. Warm welcome back, Steve. How are you doing?
Evening. Yes, fine. Thank you very much, Andy.
We have a fantastic game in the offing. It's in the men's lower 6 of the Premier Division after the season split at the end of the first 11 games. Beeston found themselves at the bottom of the table without a win to their name. However, they have that first win of the season. A 3-1 away win at Cardiff and Met last weekend has put them in a much better position. Steve, talk us through what that means for today.
Well, I mean, I think the whole feature for this, for me, is that it's created a situation where they've got a real challenge. There's a lot of confidence in the squad. They feel that the first half of the season was difficult with so many of the bottom 6 sides being away games for Beeston. So this is a real opportunity for them now. A win today, as you say, Andy, could put them in a very good position.
There are a couple of changes to the squads, but we'll get into those in a few moments' time. I think we've been looking at the stats, and they are quite similar stats for both sides of the team, so an even game in prospect.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, both sides scored 14 goals. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you think about the quality at the top end of this league, that sort of is one of the reasons why it's difficult to get high goal tallies. But on the other side of the equation, 40 goals conceded by Beeston, 41 by Southgate, so very similar stats.
And also we're keeping an eye on the other fixtures as well in the lower 6. Of course, this is Beeston Southgate. Starting at the same time, Reading, Cardiff and Met, and starting half an hour before, Brooklands, Manchester University and East Grinstead. And that game in particular features Brooklands, who are the team that Beeston need to realistically overhaul if they want to stay in the division.
It's one of the, whilst it's a small league, it's one of those situations where you probably want the top of that small league, East Grinstead in this case, to win their games, to mean that the tally of goals of points available is less.
As we can see, the matchday 16s fanning out. We can clearly see that Southgate are in their altered strip today. They've gone with white all over. Beeston in black, black and gold. They look like more players than usual, but they are definitely 16 there.
Yeah.
Match officials today, Rob Brownbridge and David Munger, are meeting the Southgate side as they go along the line. So, is this the first time you've seen the men this season? Did you get to see them at Cardiff last week?
No, I didn't. But I've got quite a lot of reports on how they played. They feel that it was a better game for them. They felt like their structure and setup was good. And their potency in the final third of the pitch as well, winning corners and obviously getting the tally of 3 goals, which was a good change for them. Talking of changes, there's a few changes in the playing staff as well, isn't there?
Let's see if we can synchronise this with the matchday 16s appearing on the screen. There's Beeston's lineup today. One change for Beeston. I think it was an enforced one, wasn't it? So out goes Ollie Dunn. In comes Ben Kendall, number 34.
Yeah, I think Ollie. I think they're looking at the fixtures that they've got today, and also playing Brooklands away tomorrow. I think Ollie's coming in for that game tomorrow. Ben Kendall's had an injury, but is now back in full flow, so that's useful.
Yeah, didn't play last week at Cardiff and Met, but he is back. Southgate make four changes,
including the keeper.
In very much so, yes. So it was a first outing of the season for Alan Dick last week against East Grinstead, which was a 2-2 draw for Southgate. Immediately he's out and replaced by Ashkay Palanapian.
Yes, I'm not sure. I think there was an injury. I would imagine that would be the case, but that's going to be quite a test for the Southgate keeper, I think, stepping in at the last minute.
So also out for Southgate, Matthew Thomas, Daniel West and Ryan Gray, as well as the aforementioned goalkeeper coming in. Farrant, Tobias Whitaker,
Mo Gandhi.
And Mo Gandhi as well, I think there.
Who's well known to us, because Mo played here at Beeston for a number of seasons. Very useful player, bit of a driving force for the Southgate team, so I'd expect him to be quite a handful today.
So I think we're almost set and ready to go. It's if you're watching this in real time, it's just coming up to 3 minutes past 6 on Saturday, the 21st of March 2026. Still getting used to saying 2026 as the current year.
It's still light.
Yeah, it won't be this time next week. Well, it will be this time next week. Clocks go back this time next week. So do be aware of that. Okay, it looks as if Southgate will have the honour to get the game underway. They will be playing from right to left as the camera looks out over the pitch. Beeston in black and gold playing left to right. They're attacking the boulevard end in this first half. You can see the cars moving along the boulevard in the distance. And it's an early couple of touches, a scene setter for Southgate. And that's a good steal on halfway. And Beeston intelligently hanging on with possession rather than going all out for a counter-attack straight away. I think there's a change there.
Yeah, well, that's fairly typical of Ali Richmond stepping in front of his man there to pick up possession and then making sure that that doesn't get turned over instantly, and so they can start their build-up nice and patient. A bit lucky to get away with that.
Normally in TV land we like to say that an early goal could change things dramatically,
yes.
But this is one of those occasions where the first goal could be quite telling.
Well, I think because of the stats that we've just talked about, Andy, I think that there is a likelihood it'll be a close game. And so from that point of view, the goals are going to matter. You know, if somebody gets off to a good start, forces the other side to have to fight back early, that can cause problems.
Beeston making their way all the way up to the baseline, but turned over. Is that another turnover quickly? Beeston back in possession with Captain Griffiths. Nudges the ball. In fact, we're coming back for a free hit. I thought that one out for a sideline ball, but there was a free hit awarded, and Southgate get us going again.
Yeah, because the last thing that either side wants in a game of hockey is lots of turnovers and too much end-to-end. You need to dominate possession as quick as possible, and you do that by stringing passes together and little phases of play. Too many quick turnovers can disrupt any kind of patterns that you're trying to develop.
So cagey start then. We've had a couple of changes of possession, but the ball, on average, has been right where it is now on halfway.
Yeah, that's right.
Southgate looking to build just in front of the camera position, and that's a little jab of a challenge from George Fletcher, who's coming to a decent bit of goal-scoring form in recent weeks.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he's pretty much the go-to forward at the minute, and dangerous player, particularly when he's travelling with the ball.
It took him a little while, but then he scored two in 2 appearances, one in November.
Good defensive work there from Beeston defence, and just releasing that ball and keeping possession.
Connor Webb with a layoff in the distance. Beeston cautiously bringing players forward. That's come nicely to Griffiths. I don't think that was the intention, but into the circle we go, and we've got a free hit just outside. That worked very well.
It did, yeah. Again, the distance travelled, and 2 or 3 passes getting him between the 2 23-metre lines.
Into the circle, deflection, early chance here. There's an appeal, penalty corner.
Well, lovely build-up, both sides of the pitch. The left side build-up was quick, forced Southgate back, and then maintaining possession around the top of the D, and a feed into the D has led to that corner, so that's a really good start.
First penalty corner of the game. Talk us through it, Mus.
There we go. Just a ball smacked in from Ali Richmond, and it just bounced up in front of the defender. I think it hit him on the foot.
So going over to inject is Brendan Andrews.
That's been an early test for this week's keeper for Southgate. If they go for a straight flick.
Who's the likeliest taker? We can see Griffiths on the edge, but also Fletcher is there. So
yeah,
number 7, number 10.
Whether they'll first time out, whether they'll go for a move, passing the ball around at the top of the D before they shoot.
I do wonder as well if they know the situation with Southgate's goalkeeping setup.
Yes, I think they've got that.
Early one, which has been kicked away. First touch from Polanapian.
Pretty straight save for him, really. Good central position, nice control with the feet, and then a little bit of a bounce around, but then it found a Beeston foot, so that one was come to nothing.
As we are getting into the game, 4 minutes gone so far. Wherever you're watching in the world, do let us know. It's always good to have your feedback.
It's interesting to see what Beeston do with the height of their press. They're not pressing particularly hard at the moment, just trying to make sure that they spend more time winning the possession back rather than forcing repossession high up the pitch. So
they have got the possession back in a quick forward ball and a little nudge forward. There's a chance for a quick return of possession back for Beeston. Southgate see off.
Yeah, nice little escape from Southgate, bit of skill.
Very nice indeed.
Very important that they make those tackles at that point, because it just gives that extra bit of impetus to Southgate's attack.
Griffiths with a tackle.
So important in this phase of the game that players get their basics right. Good passing, speed, good traps.
It's easy for your head to drop as well.
Yeah, Beeston very deep now, just pretty much all in the 23, their own 23 metre.
A little nudge into the circle, but mopped up by Beeston, and they're appealing for something, and they get it, so they will get the chance to clear.
Yeah, good cover. Defender stepping out to try and block the cross, and then cover behind as it came in. That was nicely done. Bit of a patient restart here. Ball with Toby Stanley.
Indeed, no pun intended, trying to take the sting out of Southgate's probe into the penalty, into the shooting circle that they took. There's a nice intention. Ali Richmond able to connect with it right in front of us in the chapel.
Yeah, a good outlet pass. It was a little bit close to the Southgate forward, just a bit out of reach for Ali Richmond, and off the side of the pitch it went. So. It's gone off the side, so yeah, a little bit of to and fro on the possession at the minute for both teams. Need to settle a bit, I think.
We want a good tempo to the game. Just thinking about this game as a neutral, you want it to be quick, you want it to be...
Oh dear,
that's a chance into the circle. There's a little bit of an overload to the right of the circle. That's been blasted wide of the post. How did that not go in?
Yeah, a little bit of an error there on a retreat tackle from Gaz Griffiths, and the ball fell loose, broke its way into the right-hand side of the D. I did think he might have a shot first time there, but thankfully it was defended.
There's an appeal for a foot there, but...
yeah, the umpire's given it.
The second
corner. I think it was just as he was travelling out of the D.
It looked like it bobbled up.
Just deflected in, lifted, and yeah.
So 1-1 in terms of penalty corners. You don't have to give the award instantly.
Yeah. Well, on Southgate's tally of goals, Xavier Guy and James Hickson have been their flickers 3 penalty corners each. So we'll just see how they set up. Yeah, James Hickson on the first castle, and John Stellini is looking like the other one.
Looking at the goal scorers, penalty corner goals for the season, 3 for Hickson,
yeah,
and 3 for Guy.
That's it. So Hickson's there.
Early strike, and it's gone in.
Yeah.
And the opening goal of the game has gone the way of the visitors. Exactly what Beeston didn't need, and it was
that was bound to be the risk, because despite the low goal tally, quite a number of Southgate's goals from corners. So it's always going to be dangerous, particularly bearing in mind that they a good injection, good trap, and James Hickson with his opening goal.
So Hickson gets the opener with a penalty corner in the 9th minute. Beeston, they don't need to react so urgently. There's still plenty of time in this game, obviously. If they equalise now, it would be great, but they have a lot of time to play with. They don't need to rush and make mistakes.
Correct. It's always one of those things. There's a temptation to go flat out because you've conceded a goal to try and get back into it, but in actual fact what you want is the possession and the quality build-up. Good position for a restart. There's nice ball into the D. Ooh, lucky.
Was that calm defensive work or fortunate?
Yeah, I think it was slightly out of Will Prentice's reach, but the defender was very tight to it anyway. So the slightest little error and it was going to be defended, which is what happened. Gareth Griffiths, just this high pitch build up from Beeston. And again, good cover from Southgate. Not cleared their lines very well. It's gone straight back to Beeston.
Southgate in box seat position for a first double over Beeston since 99-2000.
That's not when it was. Yeah, it's gone straight off the back, so again, a little loss of control. Probably one of the most frustrating things is when you find yourself in a good position in the D, but the ball just easily goes off the back and gives a restart to your opponents. It's a little bit soul destroying.
As they have on the bottom of those investment TV commercials, past performance is not an indicator of future performance. But it's been a long time since Southgate have won here, and it's similarly in both Southgate and Beeston.
Yes, yeah.
That last win here coming at the end of January 1999.
What an omen.
Umpire has a look and indicates long corner. Again, another appeal, strong appeal.
Yes, it was, yeah. The attempt to sort of suggest that maybe it hit a foot and should have been a penalty corner. Not taken any notice of.
Into the circle it goes, knocked behind for another long corner. Good spell of possession from the visitors.
Yeah, they're working that ball in little tight areas very well and getting some product from it, from the cross or little connecting passes around the top of the D. Forcing Beeston to do all the defence work at the moment, the off-the-ball stuff. Just show you now the speed of the game, how quickly so much of the pitch can be used if the passing is good.
And there's a slip there which has let a little bit of space open up for Max Hendry. Plays the ball forward quickly towards another player who slipped.
It too easily given away there. That needed a better connection than that outletting. Let's give the ball straight back to Southgate. Very patient play for them. Yeah, good ball fed forward.
At the moment, it's play being dictated by Simon Walker, who's...
yeah, he's hugging this touchline, but he's available all the time, so... Ooh.
That was a risky one, but it came off. And now it's Southgate's turn to try and spin their defence around and moving the ball towards the car park end. We need a more glamorous name than the car park
Yes,
end,
we do.
sure. Beeston, though, in possession now, flicked pass forward, and that's been pulled out of the air very neatly and given away. Chance here for Beeston. Tiny bit of an overload. There's a foot outside the circle.
Yeah, Mo Gandhi doing some good defensive work, but then turning the ball over too quickly, giving Beeston the possession back. Yeah, a lot of passing options available at the moment. They just need to settle. I've noticed that Southgate's last build-up play 14 plus passes. Just that little bit of patience, waiting for the right sorts of openings. Again, all the Southgate team in their own half at the minute.
We've run the rule over some of the stats, and it's quite... we were saying about how even the two teams are as seasons go.
Yes.
But also the wins that they've got, there's only 3 wins between them, so obviously last week away for Cardiff and Met's win for Beeston.
Yeah.
Southgate's win was at home against Beeston, and then a fortnight later a trip to Reading, a 3-1 away win.
Yeah, good result that. Tricky place to go, Reading.
It has been, I think, a disappointing season for both teams. And there's another little bit of disappointment, I think, that could be reflected on later.
Yeah. So difficult. The quality at the top, 5, 6 sides. It's tough to live with for the other teams.
We were looking at the interaction between the teams that were finished in the bottom 6 as they played each other in the first phase. And
yes.
There's not a lot between the two.
No.
Very similar campaigns. But it is Southgate that have the lead with 15.5 minutes on the clock. Beeston pressured.
Yeah, Southgate at the moment, they're hunting very well. The player receiving the ball is being given little time to sort themselves out. So there we go again, another example of how quickly that player on the ball is under pressure, using some good skills to get out of that.
That's very good on the outside of the field. And can Beeston get the shot away? There's an appeal, penalty corner.
Yeah. Well, good speedy break, ball carried quickly to the top of the D. I thought for a minute they'd lost control of it, but fortunately that's resulted in a penalty corner.
Just look at this little flick
very
here.
Good. A lot of forward momentum. Just at that point there, just hit a foot, I think.
Southgate aren't thrilled with the award, but I don't think there's any case to overturn it.
Well, they need to be a little bit more purposeful with this corner than they were with the first. Didn't really get any kind of momentum on the shot. Attempted hit from Gareth Griffiths. So whether they do the same again, I don't know. We'll see.
So Southgate lining up. They're ready to go.
Good injection.
Low. It's come off the goalkeeper. And padded away. This is probably the last roll of the dice in the first quarter.
So, yeah, good positioning, good goalkeeper positioning there. No space to work with for the flicker at all.
15 seconds. Can they sling it in? Can they get a deflection or something?
Always worth a go when you're at this point, just to know where you are time-wise. Get that ball in the D, see if you can pick up that corner before the whistle. Tricky pass. And yeah, you see in a situation like that, I think it might have been better to get that ball central and then fired into the D, just on the off chance that you might be able to pick up another corner. Probably a little bit too much play at that point.
So Hickson's goal, the difference at the end of the first quarter, but some positives.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, similar styles from both teams in terms of their build-up. Obviously, both sides making sure that they retain for possession as long as they can. A few really quite good quick counter-attacks from Beeston, which is a positive thing, but they just need to be careful on their outletting, that they're not giving the ball straight back to Southgate. The last thing they want to be doing is giving corners away, particularly.
Goal number 4 of the season for James Hickson. This is BTV. It's a busy weekend because Beeston will be playing again tomorrow, but they're on the road. They are off to Brooklands, so we're trying to keep an eye on the match that's currently underway, which started half an hour before this one. We probably won't know the final result. We'll only know the final result, I guess, but we'll keep an eye out for you. So the floodlights are blazing away. The sun has disappeared behind the trees in the distance. For those of you who haven't seen Nottingham Hockey Centre for a little while, you can see in the distance that the row of trees has gone on the rugby pitch.
Yes,
and it's become a football pitch as well. I think that's quite a big difference.
Much more open. I think the whole little setup over there has been resurfaced. Part of the Nottingham University campus beyond the Beeston pitches.
Just looking in the distance, I wonder if I can see my car. I think I can. So I think teams are making their way out. Southgate are in the lead. I don't think they need to think about any changes of approach there.
No, not really.
Leading.
I think it was a shame they gave the corner away in the way that they did, because in actual fact at that point all the defensive shape for Beeston was fine. It was just not controlled properly and ended up hitting a foot.
So we are rolling again. Second quarter underway.
Beeston's 2 corners have not come to much. Second one particularly quite easily saved by both saved by the keeper.
Yes, well they had to be stopped,
yes,
but they weren't tricky stops.
Yes.
Shadows starting to lengthen on the field, and Beeston have the ball in front of the dugouts.
Yeah, nice little feed through into the midfield. Ball collected well, just drop back out again in a transfer to try and create space. And that's the pass I was sort of referring to, the one that's given straight away to an opponent's stick.
Was picked up by Max Hendry.
Yeah, good low defensive shape from Sahib Dillon there, just making sure that Southgate's forward couldn't get past him.
Incremental movements in terms of field possession for Beeston. I think that my suggestion would be they need a little bit of an injection of pace, because that's worked when they had that move down the left-hand side.
That counter-attack speed. See that again, that connection's just missed. Although they're lucky to get that back for a sideline restart. Oh, an attempt at an aerial, but again, a little too hurried, and just very quickly having regained possession, giving it back to your opponent means you have to do a lot of work to get back into defensive shape.
This is your coach's brain coming out.
Sort of, yes.
There's a bit of space opened up on the left-hand side for Southgate into the circle. Hudgman watches it, and it's shepherded to safety by Toby Stanley. It'll be so good to get a win today, should they get a win today, because that would mean 2 wins on the bounce,
yes.
Something to hang on to going into tomorrow's game. But
well, the scoreline at 1-0's not an issue in a hockey match nowadays. You expect to see quite a few goals, and hopefully quite a few goals, but just make sure. I think the biggest criticism at the moment is probably the number of times Beeston have passed it straight to an opponent's stick.
Oh, you nearly foreshadowed that.
Absolutely, and that's something they've got to take care of. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with the shape and the movement. It's just the I think the pass quality is a bit down at the minute. But we mustn't take anything away from Southgate. They're getting in there. They're making sure that they are a threat every time Beeston make a pass. There's always somebody stepping in the line of the pass and closing the player down. So good work from Southgate.
This one out of play, about a stride away from the corner flag, and that's where we're getting the restart from. So it's a tricky one to get out from, but you've got to give the team space.
Done well there. Just Sahib Dillon just retreat defence. All he could do was knock it off the side.
And there's a turnover in a promising position, and also off camera there's a lot of movement towards the boulevard end.
Yeah.
Can Beeston make something out of this? It's a forward ball to the 20.
So important. Yeah, you see that the whole of that build up in very short space of time, looking at probably 5, 6, 7 seconds, and the last player turning it over, and all of a sudden you have to start again. It's frustrating and it's tiring as well, because you've got all the retreat work to do. Very important the ball stays with forwards when it gets there, so that you don't have to keep resetting defence.
Did that long corner? Long corner
stick clatter there, wasn't there? I thought for a minute that might have been.
Could have been a combination of things.
Yes. Big aerial. Where's that going? Okay.
That was well met.
Richmond was well onto that.
I think there was a good call as well, because I was worried that they could have been miscommunication.
Yes, that's right.
And Beeston have been painted into a bit of a corner here, so they'll have to reorient and move the ball from left to right, I feel, but it looks like they're going more direct and through the middle this time. And
yeah, nobody on this right-hand side. And by doing that, it makes defensive life quite a bit easier because they can be quite tight to the two players that were in the D. They needed a bit more width in the D, drag the defenders apart a bit and create a bit more space.
It's a decent watch.
Yeah, it is. It's enjoyable. I think both sides are guilty of the same miss-pass errors sometimes, but maybe that will be the key to it. The side that gets to grips with that first. Good work.
Very crisp in the middle of the field, but Beeston have got a stick on it, and that's
and I would say that should be a Beeston restart, and it is. So.
Yeah, Richard Swan making a nuisance of himself, and I think not allowing the quick restart either.
That was Ollie Manson, wasn't it, doing his midfield graft. It's winning possession. This is a really useful start position here. Can they make a connection? Well, that's very
little 3-iron, and that's a penalty corner.
Yeah,
a nice loft into the circle.
Yeah, very well worked. Nicely controlled by Ali Richmond, and just making the most of the momentum he created when he received the ball. Life difficult then for the Southgate defender.
This is one occasion where I think Southgate were trying to spoil that restart, and it's turned out ultimately badly.
Yes.
Because the Beeston had the opportunity to size up what they were going to do on the restart.
Well, third corner, Andy.
Well, do you want to roll it out?
We've talked about this many times before. If you're going to have successful corner routines, you've got to be hitting 1 in 3. The first two have, as we say, a foot save and a hand save from the keeper, but relatively easy positions to do that. So they need to create a bit more whip and angle, maybe a move this time.
My eyes have been drawn to the right-hand side of the circle, but we will see.
There we go.
It's been repeat penalty corner is the call.
Yeah,
talk us through that.
Yeah, same as the first one, out and a tap and move, tap and hit from Gareth Griffiths. Has found a foot for a second rearward corner. I'm not quite sure whether it's going to be really hard and accurate. That is to get past the keeper and the low defenders on the line. Something
a bit more intricate. It doesn't come off.
Yeah, well, they're trying to move the ball, and a bit of unreadiness, I think. This has created a counter-attack for Southgate.
And into the circle, but mopped up by Griffiths.
He's had to work hard to get back into that sort of shape. And
nearly a gift on the edge of the circle, and Southgate have possession again. Let's follow this. And there's a couple of swings at the ball, and it's been knocked behind. And I think under pressure, so it will be a Beeston
little bit of a warning there, a bit of alertness missing. Beeston defenders need to be switched on for everything that's happening all the time. Archie Vaughan just getting stuck in there.
It is, and I think it's quite fortunate because he was keen to get on with that, but because he stumbled, it meant that he could readjust and restart. Less chaos from Beeston. Sometimes we call for chaos, and that's a nice ball to the top of the circle, but cannot get stuck on the end of a Beeston stick, and Southgate move through the gears swiftly. Little check back, little touch by Tobias Whittaker. First appearance of the season for him today, number 52 for Southgate.
Yeah, when you see those balls fired into the D forwards, it's very important that they get in front of the defender. Otherwise, it's quite an easy take for a defender, and then he's got momentum to travel away from the D. Sort of have to anticipate at what point that ball's going to be sent in your direction.
Controlled ball into a difficult place. And Southgate looking at the sprints through the middle of the field, and that is the cracking ball, but is there enough in the tank?
Just ran away from him a bit there. So again, we've gone from the Southgate D to the Beeston end restart in 4 or 5 seconds.
Right, that is definitely number 11, and meant to be Ryan Gray, who's not on your match sheet, so something isn't right there.
Good work here. Now this should be getting into the lead. D here.
Chance, and then mopped away. Controlled defence again from Southgate, rather than panic. And this is good.
There is a slight increase in the attacks coming from Beeston as opposed to Southgate, but this is the point in the D where they're going to have to sharpen their axe a little bit, really, because it's running a bit free. Oh dear.
That's not good from Richmond, who hit the deck. He's back up and into your picture now. And stretching, and then very nearly gives away a shooting opportunity for Southgate. Beeston get the whistle and can clear. When it's not going right for Beeston, it's really not going right.
See there, have they won possession? Have they kept it? Yes. Can he get the ball? No.
I've been impressed by Southgate when they have the option of an out. The ball is played at a good speed.
It is, yeah, definitely. And they're regrouping quickly as well on turnovers, so working very hard back into defensive shape.
Wow, there's an acrobatic jump through the air from Dylan, who pulled that one down brilliantly.
He did. This is tough position. Can he get on the ball? Yes, he can.
That was good, but I think a little beat quicker would have set Beeston off on a counter-attack.
Yeah, some of this interplay is good to a point from Beeston. Now they're making these connections. It's the last one that's going to be the key.
Will it be
again?
kept in?
Same sort of a thing there. So they've got through the 23-metre line. They've got a player heading towards possession, but not quite been able to retain it. And again, having to reset for a defence for Southgate start.
One of the commentary fullbacks of a dull game is saying how quickly the game's gone, but this one really has swept along. Our clock will go up to 17.5 minutes. That will be the end of the second quarter, the end of the first half.
Yeah.
But it has flown by. There's still time for anything to happen as well.
I do think that Southgate are making this very difficult for Beeston when they get into their defensive area. Some really good tackling, certainly some very good shape and cover, and it's going to take a bit of skill or maybe a properly executed corner to get back into this.
Beeston's defence seemed to need an alarm clock there
I
to
agree.
be switched on to that attack from Southgate. That one is...
yeah, interesting little defensive moment there, Andy, because it was Gareth Griffiths travelling backwards that did the defending rather than the defender in the D stepping out and making possession stronger. Good pick.
Nice. And is there a ball on? There is to the right of the circle. It's gone to the top, and that's been picked off as well. Things are starting to come together, but not completely come together for Beeston.
Another example there of the defender getting in front of the forward. George Fletcher was just caught a little bit flat-footed. And often when you pick up balls in that situation, the next thing you'll find it in your own 23, so that's something they've got to improve. Good aerial.
Taken down, but what and how did... It took me a while to gather and work out what was going on, because the control was instant.
Yes. The
ball was played towards the goal, and it sounded to me like it came off the post.
Or maybe the sideboard, I couldn't quite see from here, but definitely hit something to do with the goal, didn't it? Interesting receipt of the aerial in the D there, because they're talking about allowing forwards to close down on the receiver quicker. So if you don't trap that ball, if you don't bring that ball down quickly and bring it under control, there is a risk you can turn it over in a dangerous area.
Are those changes likely to be coming in ahead of the World Cup in the summer?
I think that was what it was talked about.
Just looking at the pointing of the stick from the on-rushing 23, and there's a chance here. Hujwan pads the ball away, and that was almost another self-inflicted wound.
It was, and Southgate with a lot of space at that point, still trying to get a shot off.
Fantastic save. And who's first to it? Well, the second ball has been picked up by Southgate. There's another shooting opportunity, but that's been seized upon, and Beeston go through the gears, and there's an overload if they can get this right. Southgate are bringing back numbers quickly. Aerial ball into the circle, taken down, And has been taken out of play?
He's
No.
managed it, he's controlled that.
And that means that some of those retreating Southgate players are still in an advantageous position towards halfway.
Yes.
But that sound of the ball hitting us in the chapel means that there's Ben Kendall gets the chance to restart for Beeston.
Yeah, a good example of Southgate's determined defence there, because they've mopped up a very dangerous situation. And I think they seem to be winning 50-50s quite well as well, so little bits of dominance there. You see that's pounced on very quickly because of the mistake.
And that's well watched from the umpire, and that was good, calm defensive work. There was a time, or some games we've seen, not necessarily Beeston games, where the defender would have lurched and caused a foul there.
Yes.
That was very good timing in the defence.
Forwards having some difficulty getting on the end of these passes as they go forward, mostly because Southgate are defending very well. The one-on-one situations at the moment are going in Southgate's favour, I think.
"16 minutes gone. Will there be another twist? Will there be an equaliser? Will there be a second goal?"
Yeah, Ben Kendall's done well to reach that, and then is obviously the slight misunderstanding.
Hamilton is closing down in the corner, making it tricky for Beeston to come out.
Yeah, good work to connect this a little bit.
One more throw of the dice, a minute to go until half time. A little bit more calm needed.
I don't think there's particularly been anything too wrong with Beeston's build-up play, but they've struggled when they get into the final 23 because of Southgate's defence. The reward so far has probably been the three corners and not anything else, nothing from an open play.
I think more bite required up front for Beeston.
Yeah.
12 months ago, if they're in this position, a different player may have put one of those chances away.
Yeah.
But mentioning no names.
It's not been a lot of space for...
That is the end of the first half, by the way, and
yes,
a very...
It's gone quickly, that has.
Well, I know we did...
Southgate with the only goal so far in the 9th minute, goal from James Hickson. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, but in the meantime, as well as the match, we're here celebrating both Pride and World Down Syndrome Day. So after the match, please do stick around because we have live music on as well. In the back.
Just listening to the stadium announcer talking us through what we can enjoy here at Nottingham Hockey Centre this evening. What we will do is have a very quick look at a new feature available to global viewers. Well, this is our wrap of the half. You can see it's Beeston 0, Southgate 1, wherever you're watching in the world. You can see that summary and see the match information. There's plenty more. Can we have a look at the website itself? Let's have a look at that. You can follow the game in detail wherever you are in the world, whilst also having the live stream on as well. There's Ollie Dunn just popping on and saying hello. Ollie Dunn not featuring today. But he always likes to be involved.
He does.
I think that might have been a wrong key press. Well, we'll have a look at the highlights. We'll take you through the fantastic new Beeston Match Centre a little bit later, but here are the highlights of an interesting first half. This is BTV.
A little bit of an error there on a retreat tackle from Gaz Griffiths, and the ball fell loose, broke its way into the right-hand side of the D. I did think he might have a shot first time there, but thankfully it was defended.
There's an appeal for a foot there, but...
yeah, the umpire's given it. The other one.
Looking at the goal scorers, penalty corner goals for the season, 3 for Hickson.
Yeah.
and 3 for Guy.
That's it. So Hickson's there.
Early strike, and it's gone in.
Yeah.
And the opening goal of the game.
There we go again. Another example of how quickly that player on the ball is under pressure, using some good skills to get out of that.
That's very good
Very
on the
good.
outside of the field. And can Beeston get the shot away? There's an appeal,
Yeah,
penalty corner.
Yeah. Well, good speedy break.
Welcome back to BTV. As promised, a very quick look at the match centre, which is available for you. You can watch the match here, and you can also see the match information with a timeline on the right-hand side of the screen. So some fantastic new developments here at Beeston and BTV. All in one place. Tell a friend. Muss is back, ready to go for the second half. Beeston will have the honour of getting the match underway, as I think the air ambulance has decided to appear in the distance. You can actually see the flashing lights on the screen. So we might be holding on a moment or two just to wait for that to clear. Everyone needs to be focused on the game. We can't have what could be a distraction. So we have come back a little bit early. Beeston get the second half underway, so apologies if you're still making your tea. But yeah, we are back underway. Southgate are ahead. That one goal coming in the 9th minute. Is there a response coming from Beeston in this second half?
It's going to be a very important half for Beeston, this, in the context of this league.
It's tricky to not make it sound flippant, but a defeat today could be crucial.
Yes.
And we don't want to...
See, that's another one that's come to nothing. I think the attempt to put the ball onto the baseline and the hope that maybe there was a forward travelling into that area, but that didn't happen, so it's just quite an easy restart for Southgate.
Fletcher gets possession and has been pulled back.
Yeah. Close one, really, because he almost had the right to restart at that point, as he did.
We have seen over the years, though, that Beeston sometimes restart too quickly.
Yeah.
So I think there have been a couple of occasions in this game where the pause has worked well, and there's another couple of examples of Southgate working the ball gently at a good pace.
Very nice done that.
And look how many dark shirts there are for Beeston here compared to Southgate. Can they make the most?
I do think the work rate from both teams has been good. And there's no issues with the commitment from either side at the minute. Obviously the one chance shows how limited goal scoring opportunities have been, particularly open play opportunities. There's not been many of those at all.
Looking at the stats before the day, Beeston's goal scoring, 78% of their goals have come from open play.
Yeah.
14% from penalty corners, the remainder 7% coming from penalty strikes.
Yes, yeah.
Obviously there are very low numbers here, but let's break off as Southgate progress forward and end up getting a free hit in a dangerous position. Beeston scrambling to defend this ball hammered into the circle.
Southgate will have looked at those stats, Andy, and made sure that so you can see how tightly they're marking forwards and how few scoring opportunities they've allowed.
A couple of attempted tackles.
Just trying to find his 5-metre move before he enters the D.
Long corner is the outcome. Three minutes gone in the second half on BTV. Southgate in white are leading by a 1-0. Towards the baseline, that's well kept in by Beeston, but can they get out from this position? Look at the quantity of white shirted players, but Beeston have done well to get it to here. Can they get the sideline ball? No, they can't.
Closing space by Southgate at both ends of the pitch has been excellent.
Sound like a blast of a whistle, but maybe from another pitch.
Yeah.
Southgate edging closer to the goal at the boulevard end.
Oh, interesting. Oops.
It's a hint of physicality, and that ball has been turned towards goal and off a Beeston stick, I think, for a long corner.
Yeah.
Lots of looking around.
Yes.
Early into the circle, chance for a shot, and then turn wide, but that must have taken a nick on the way through as well.
Yeah, very close. That's probably, we just talked about open goal or open play chances, and that was one of them for Southgate.
Flicked into the circle, swing and a miss.
Yeah. Again, so Southgate created 2 potential goal-scoring chances in that little foray into the Beeston D. And I think Beeston flourish better when there's more space to work with, and Southgate have really got to grips with closing down. As you can see here, the player on the ball.
Was that hopeful? I think there was a player on the top of the circle looking for that. That attempt, the swing and a miss, we could have been looking at a goal of the day contender.
Yes.
But also, what's turned out to be a free hit, a defensive free hit for Beeston.
Yes.
And things are that close at the moment.
Yeah. And that hopeful cross from Beeston, trying to find Brendan Andrews, who would have done so well to get on the end of that because it was fast and in the air. And good step in there from
at the very edge of the distance as well.
Yes, absolutely. This is the sort of position where they need to upgrade from that just crossing the 23 to making that a D entry.
And there's a free hit in a positive position, so coming forward, we've got Ben Kendall, who's being tracked. I think we're going to sweep out to Kendall sometime soon, but not just yet.
Now this is a good position. Somebody on the arm. It's trouble with firing in a pass like that. If defenders are good defenders and they're low and they read that well, it just literally comes straight back out again. So a bit more precision in there.
There's Kendall, and audible disappointment. Backstick was the call.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. I thought that might be the case.
There has been a noticeable shift in physicality in the second half compared to the first.
Yeah. Southgate not particularly troubled by the Beeston attacks at the moment, and that would be the thing that would bother me most. Things can change very quickly, as we know, but at the moment there's not been a lot of outcome from the number of attacks that Beeston have had. It's a big aerial.
And into the crowd.
Probably too big. Yeah. Be interesting to see if at any point Beeston coach Stephen Wood decides to change the tactics in any way.
Well, it's not. I'd give it 20 minutes to go, because it's not. If it was still 1-0,
yes, yeah,
then that would be a roll of the dice time. 2-0 down, I think immediately you'd have a change of plan.
Yes,
1-0 with 20 minutes to go, that feels about.
Still trying to create that that perfect opening.
David Bunga making sure the restart's taken from the right place. There's a lot of blue turf for Beeston to operate in, but quickly closed down by Southgate. And nice give and go, and there's again that uplift in physicality. Sees Southgate move into position. There's an overlap on the left-hand side. Hamilton strong.
To be precise, the Beeston defence, they've done well.
There's a give and go, and there's a couple of Southgate defenders who've been in less than ideal positions, but the pass forward isn't the best, and Beeston have to go hunting for the ball again on the 23-metre line, but they have got it.
Got to get round this last man.
Chris Curry doing everything he could.
If you're going to create that open goal shooting option, you've got to get round that last man, create a 2-on-1 or an opportunity for a straight drive and a shot.
Beeston's 3 goals last week, all coming from open play. There's a chance for Griffiths, but he loses possession. He gets it back, though, and fails to keep it in play. A lot happening in that couple of seconds of play.
Same little trait, really, just getting to the D, but not being able to create enough danger. So in many ways at the moment, Andy, Beeston have not managed to test the keeper.
No, I think the only shots that the keeper's faced have been the ones that have come from penalty corners.
Yeah.
So what causes those shooting opportunities to come about? What's the key thing that Beeston aren't doing now that they should be doing?
Well, I think on that last example that Beeston had, it was actually maintaining enough possession to use your skill to get round the last man and put the Southgate defenders having to track back to defend. At the moment, they're doing all the defending in front of them, and it's fairly easy to do because they're good at it. And as I say, I think Beeston flourish most when they can counter-attack at speed and when the opposition is not set. But Southgate have been very good at getting it set into shape. Here's an example. Now this is where he has to get past. And
they've done well, and there's a cutback, there's a chance which is overplayed on the reverse, and that's an unbelievable stop with the stick.
Indeed.
And that is Ashke Palanapian, who is first match, I believe, or certainly first game this season for Southgate. and he's turned up, and that is that first shot on
Yep.
target in the game that's not come from a penalty corner for Beeston.
Getting past that last man, creating something difficult, but the keeper was up to it. Possible question mark on why it wasn't a 4-stick shot rather than a turn and a reverse stick shot.
I think it was more to do with the time. That if that trap was instant,
yes,
that we would have seen that shot straight away. But
yeah, I think that's right.
still, a shot went away.
Yeah,
If you're,
can be quite difficult to read that from a keeper's point of view. So he did very well.
you may already be committed.
Yeah,
So let's see what this can do. There's a little tickle towards the edge of the circle, and then
not good enough.
Southgate are onto it like a flash. And looking at the running style of Richard Swan through the middle, he's in an ocean of space if the ball comes to him. But Beeston back in possession again. We're approaching that 20 minutes to go. Do you roll the dice?
still a little bit, a few more minutes, I think. Beeston just had a few attempts.
On the right-hand side, there's a free hit on the outside, and there was strong running from Barney Bithell, number 24, and held up in play by Joe Paul, I think, making the nuisance of himself.
Yeah, we did talk about those little turnovers, the ball staying with the forwards longer, and Beeston gave the inside pass, which was quite easily picked up, and now look at the pressure they're under.
So a foot outside the circle, it is a free hit whatever happens. Southgate not wasting any time to get the ball in the circle. No one in white to take advantage of it.
Look at that,
Beeston
straight
quickly give the ball
careless,
away.
Very careless pass. Seemed to have just lost a bit of power in the passing. Ball not travelling at the right pace between players. But you know, just a few minutes ago they had this good pressure down the right-hand side, which put them in the D. Almost created a goal-scoring chance. There's another possible one here. That's better.
Chance, and that's been taken away from danger by Southgate, and there's again additional physicality. We've not got a suggestion of a card, but we will have a restart.
Yeah, it's gone against Beeston. But again, the ball fed forward on that last part of the process, and it was far too easy for Southgate to step in and pick that possession up.
Little nudge, which has made Beeston favourite to get back in possession, and we've lost possession again.
Yeah,
it is with Southgate. Are they going to pump the ball into the circle? There's an option there. They try to. There's a dive and long corner.
Yeah. Nice little ball fed in there for possible deflection. Ball could have gone anywhere. Useful little bobbly pass into the D. Cause the defenders issues as to whether they can collect that ball, whether they're going to deal with the bobble properly.
Disappointment. There was a scream of anguish as Southgate's forward player didn't maintain possession of the ball. But Southgate have regrouped and halted Beeston's progress.
Yeah,
14 minutes gone in this third quarter.
Yeah, that's another thing I've noticed. They've been doing quite well. Ali Richmond's progress down the right-hand side is usually very good, but he's instantly cut off from making that progress. He's got a bit more space here.
What you can't see on the picture, because you can see the blue space, the blue field. What you can't see on the picture is the movement and the overload of players at the car park end. It's the area that Beeston are attacking. If they can get the ball into the circle, they've got players there that potentially could take advantage of that, but they cannot get the ball into a dangerous position at the moment.
No. There, look, defender steps in first again and consequently wins the ball back and has the time to reset and start again. A few instances of Beeston forwards not getting in front of the defender when that ball's fed forwards. Nice little outlets from Southgate.
Good skill. Shuckler.
Manson making sure he gets
A very, very definite sound of stick on stick.
Scrapping his way through many Southgate sticks.
Collinson goes with a restart, plays it quickly, but it's a safe one this time.
Yeah, I think they feel that the right-hand side is likely to be more of a better option for them.
Great
but
run.
This has got to be controlled here.
End product. And how did that stay out? It's been
yes.
smashed in. We have an equaliser.
Well, that was a fantastic finish. Ball could have gone anywhere. It was just heading out.
Well, talk us through it.
Well, the right side attack, we talked about this, getting beyond the last man to create trouble in the defence and doubt in the minds. Perfectly done. A lovely carry along the baseline. That's the point where it should have scored, but it was well defended. But the follow-up, absolutely excellent.
It looked...
Was it Joe Paul?
Well, that's the question I thought.
I couldn't see from here.
I thought it was 24, which is Nathan Rosario, but he's not on the field.
Ah, right.
But I think it's a player with a 4, so it could be Toby Stanley, it could be Joe Paul, it could be Ben Kendall, but I don't think it's Ben Kendall.
No, I think he just got out of our shot at that point, didn't it? We'll track that down. But that's a super time to equalise now, because the momentum, except for that sort of thing, they've got to protect this possession.
Joe Paul is the call, and we've been watching it on the replay.
Now this is such an important phase. They cannot afford to give possession away too many times too quickly now. They need to really settle, be calm.
Also, credit, because we were talking about the success down the right-hand side.
Definitely. It was definitely the place that they were going to get. Here we go again. Got to get this beyond this last man.
We should be having quarter time, and I think we've reached quarter time now. Or are we still playing? I think there's a little bit of confusion there about what the call is there, because we have reached a full quota of 17.5 minutes. I don't think we'll have much left in the quarter.
Well, it's definitely game on now, and the ball is in a good position here. Oh, get on the end of that. That was a great cross.
There is quarter time.
Well, it's as we were saying, really, Andy, when you've got a side as good as Southgate man marking.
Quarter ends, it's Beeston 1, Southgate 1. Huge quarter to play.
Yeah, so when you get a side that's man marking as well as Southgate are, you need one of your players to eliminate a player in order to create the overload. And that's probably well, there was 2 or 3 instances when it nearly happened, and then certainly when it did, created the goal.
That is the match centre, as we were saying at the start of the half. This is available to everyone around the world. You can watch the game, you can see the updates on the right-hand side, and you can see confirmation Joe Paul's equaliser for the Bees. That is BeestonHockeyClub.com. That's BeestonHockeyClub.com.
Very interesting quarter, that. Enjoyable to watch. Still quite a lot of mistakes by both teams, but certainly quite a bit of end-to-end hockey as well.
Looking at the table, what does this do? Well, Beeston would move on to 5 points. Should Brooklands have lost today, they will be within 1 point of Brooklands. Southgate would move on to 10 for the season. But there's so much still in the air.
There is,
This has got to get turned into a win for Beeston.
It has. I think, we might as well tell it how it is. Beeston need to win, and they've got this quarter to sort that out, really. But a few little positive signs that certainly the work on the right-hand side, I think, is a benefit. But I'm sure that Jason Lee, coaching Southgate, will be on to that, and we'll talk to them about it.
So here we go, 17.5 minutes left in this one. We are all square. Beeston drawing it level in the third quarter. It's a lead that Southgate held since the 9th minute. And we are off and rolling. It'll be probably overkill to say that Beeston's Premier Division lifeline hangs by a thread here,
Yes,
but a win is looking more and more vital as we get further into the game.
I think they'd accepted that when the second phase started after Christmas that it was going to have to be wins.
Well, they did the first part of the bargain last week,
here
and
we
there's
go.
a chance here. Is there a pass on? There's a turn. It's a foot in the circle.
That
No.
looked like a corner all day long for me.
We'll get the microscope out on that one.
Maybe not enough aggression from the man on the ball. I think.
Must say that there wasn't much of a claim. Sometimes,
No.
sometimes you can tell from players' reactions that wasn't necessarily one of those, but it looked quite footy, didn't it?
Yes, yeah. Could have been a bit more venom in the play of the ball to the player's foot, or in getting a shot off. In fact, skills very good. No turnover here, lads. That's not the right thing to be doing.
The ball seems to be magnetised to Southgate in situations like this. A perfect example there. You cannot get the ball off the player.
No. And again, I think on the one-on-one stuff, the 50-50 stuff, Beeston have got to be stronger. There's a few that have actually gone in Southgate's favour when, for the sake of a bit more venom in the tackle, they could have come away with the ball.
Extremely vocal on the field of play. Beeston playing for their Premier Division future. Southgate looking to edge further and further away from safety and leave both Brooklands and Beeston somewhat adrift.
Yeah, and a point for Southgate at this point of the league. They definitely take it.
Unfortunately, we just don't know how the other games are going on.
No.
But we'll have to stand by for that. It was a half an hour earlier than this match start time. So 5:30 Brooklands played East Grinstead.
Again.
And that's decent down the right-hand side, but is there much in the way of support? Now some support comes, and the early pass towards the top of the circle turns out to be a little bit closer to the 23-metre line. Beeston free hit in a promising position here.
Just a little bit more determination on the ball for me.
Into the circle, chance to get the ball across the face of goal. It's been mopped up very well indeed by Southgate.
Yes, as we've said, Southgate's one of their strengths is this defensive work they do. It's really difficult to break down.
Chance again to get the ball into a decent position.
Yep, fight for it. That's another one of those 50-50s I'm talking about where Beeston have to be stronger.
And I think we have seen a lot more go in Beeston.
Yeah,
and now they're trying to move down the
definitely.
left-hand side. There's a
They
chance to
Richmond
get the
in a
ball into the
really-
circle. They do. There's an opportunity here. Can this get turned in? Penalty corner.
Penalty corner. Really good attack. Some superb hockey from Ali Richmond down this left-hand side, making connections that mattered and then getting over the D-line. Here. Very good.
There looked like there was a chance for a shot at the top of the circle
There did.
here, and then it didn't come. There was another chance for a shot there, but I think it was the defensive challenge from Clifton that might have made all the difference for Southgate.
Well, I think Beeston have got to think about some kind of a variation here, a move of the ball. I'm not convinced they've got a shot off the top that's going to be powerful enough, but you never know.
A deflection of some sort.
Yeah, something
just
of that
wide
sort,
of the post.
Yes.
A Joe Paul special.
Absolutely.
So as the corner music disappears quite surprisingly quickly, being the person that's pressing the corner music. I'm surprised by that.
Right, here we go. What could happen here? Good injection, good trap.
Good pace, low, and then
What is
battered.
That is...
Went for power.
Yes, yeah.
If that had gone in...
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, it was. They need to get that backboard height, really, so that...
If it had hit the crossbar, it probably would have cracked it. Lots of power, but not in the best of direction.
Interesting routine as well. I mean, could have created... It had to be hit accurately and low.
if it is backboard height as well, it takes away any doubt in the umpire's mind that it may have been hit rather than lifted.
Yeah, the positives though, positives.
Looking at the space on the left-hand side out of your screen, there's movement, and this is that space on the left-hand side. It is Kendall who takes up possession of the ball, gives and goes, and Beeston looked, I can't say transformed or look like world beaters, but they certainly have a bit more belief about them in this.
Looks like it, yeah. I think they know what they've got to do.
And they do know that they can score because they have done.
Yes. I just think they need a little bit more precision, particularly in situations like that, on making sure that they get hold of the ball and that they create these chances.
It is set up for a sucker punch as well. Southgate have left a forward dangling at the top of the circle, mopping up any loose balls, but equally...
That is, again, another example. That is not helpful to the team. Just turning it over there when they're trying to get this momentum. Rats. Just a little bit of awareness as well, where the angle was from Brendan Andrews, just getting himself slightly further forward.
But also the pass could have been slightly weighted differently.
Yeah.
And
Toby Stanley on the showing how to make a clean defence.
Taking the ball away is Connor Webb. Webb retains possession under a lot of intense pressure. Beeston with the
again
4-iron.
Yeah, not the best of choices really.
That magnetism that Southgate had with the ball that I was describing seems to have been broken, because Beeston are winning 50-50s.
Yeah, they've got to do that. I mean, they've not won that one, but they really are they're in a fight for a win, and so they can't be half-hearted in anything that they do.
Into the circle, long corner, and I think the defensive efforts of Beeston, they're starting to tire a touch. Some of those challenges are a little bit last ditch.
Yeah.
And that opens the risk of giving away something risky.
It's a quandary, isn't it? They don't want to give away the point that they've fought for, but they need, they really need to go and get the 3 points. So they've got to commit to the attack.
Penalty corner.
Yeah, ball just Ben Kendall trying to get in tight behind the receiver, and got through and hit him on the foot.
Is this the second penalty corner of the game for Southgate?
There, look, just...
it is the second penalty corner, and they scored from the previous one, so this would be a dangerous moment for Beeston's defence. They've got to be alert. It was a penalty corner from James Hickson, who is number 7, and is he there currently? I don't think so.
Well, if they're pretty sure he's going to flick it, the number 1 runner's got to get right into...
He is there, just furthest back, number 7. Time off, as Beeston's defensive unit are looking to get as prepared as possible.
Does anybody volunteer to run number 1 at penalty corners?
It's been padded away from Simon Hudgwan, going to his right-hand side.
He saw that and kind of reduced the threat to a long corner from the short corner.
Heart-in-mouth moment for Beeston's defence, I think.
We're going to need a good counter-attack move, which can happen off this kind of play. Southgate in Beeston's half, if they make a mistake in any of their passes. Nice position on the baseline.
Into the circle, and that's hit the post and away.
What a moment that was, crikey. That was very, very close indeed. In fact, I thought they'd scored.
Again, commentary cliche, how did that not go
Exactly,
in? Because that would have been the sucker punch of sucker punches.
It would. Looking at the time left. Beeston need all of the time to try to get this win. So if they try and have to fight back from a
Early ball was promising.
Forwards, again, you have to expect this kind of stuff and get on your nose in there and try and make your deflections. And
I'm no coach, but I have seen an awful lot of hockey. And there's a balance to be made between defensive strength and the chaos you need to create a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've been asked to consider our thoughts for the man of the match, the player of the game. And that ball's gone over the baseline. When that clock hits 17.5 minutes, that is the end of the game. So you can work out just how long we got left for Beeston to potentially get a winner, or Southgate to potentially get a winner.
It's difficult to pick a man of the match. From the Southgate team, I think their defensive work's been excellent. It's caused Beeston all kinds of problems, and they've all done it to the
It's
same
been a collective.
high level. It's been a collective strength, definitely.
And there's an example of that, but that's good from Beeston. No panic.
A bit of a risk, but got away with it.
Exactly.
There's Ali Richmond off again. Aerial forward.
It's slowed down.
Pressure, a bit slow.
Chance, and that's
that is harsh. That is very harsh. That's a lovely step in from Manson. Yeah.
And the mystery player who's wearing 11 for Southgate, who is down as Ryan Gray, but probably isn't because he's not on the match sheet.
Ball with Beeston again. Oh, here we go, three hits.
This is actually making me feel a little uncomfortable.
That was a moment for sure. Ollie Manson there, I thought he'd done enough to get through those two players, and that could have created that little bit of chaos that we were talking about. Again, Ali Richmond's doing some super work on that right-hand side.
Incremental progress down the right-hand side in front of the crowd. Good crowd today.
Good feed and a collection. This in a dangerous area. Trying to create something out of this. Again, Southgate, you can't fault them. I mean, that was actually off the ground as well, and he's still taken it cleanly. Yeah, the case. A couple of umpiring decisions which are being questioned. It's a good position to win the ball back, definitely.
And that's a good bit of running on the right-hand side. Can Beeston keep it in? There's an
That's
appeal
corner.
for a penalty corner, and it's given.
A corner. Guys just basically blocked the runner from getting to the ball.
Classic bit of obstruction. We need to clip this one and stick it in the umpiring manuals.
I think you'd be a bit cross with your defender. That's probably one of the few occasions they've got it wrong, Southgate. But you can just see here, look blocking the runner's path. Well, this is a moment, because you look at the time left on the clock.
Yes.
But I do hope they don't try that reverse stick again, because I don't think that was of any value whatsoever.
If you spend as much time on the internet as I do, you would have probably come across the Australians called How Ridiculous. They would have just summarised this as big.
Yes.
There is no other word. Yes. Big.
Big concentration moment from everybody involved in this.
Oh, it's an unbelievable save.
Goodness me, that's off his arm, the keeper's arm. Whipped in as well. That's not going to be retained, but it is.
Beeston get the chance to drive into the circle, but it was moving. I think that may actually go again in Beeston's favour. I think if they ran that, it would have gone wrong. Now they've got time to regroup. Now the change of the angle of the attack over to the left-hand side, try and pull Southgate apart. They were very much, like we were, probably anticipating a right-hand side attack.
Yeah. Nice little feed in there. Again, really good shape from Southgate. If you look at all of their players, they're all in the right areas. And there's a good example, and they've picked up the ball and taken the pressure off. So
Which
really
one's
good.
come out of his goal? Is there pace? Will there be a pass on? Last-ditch tackle. And people complaining left, right and centre from
It's that phase
Southgate.
of the game, isn't it, where
Long blow on the whistle, looks like umpires having a chat, but no further action. We are that far away from the end of the game.
Yeah, well, going back to that last corner, what an opportunity that was, but you can't fault the keeper again. I think his positional stuff's been brilliant.
Could be a contender for player of the day, actually.
Yeah, from Southgate's point of view, I think it takes a lot of praise for the way he's kept goal today.
We do need to come up with a solution for our player of the match, though. We
Yes.
really do have to do that. Director's nodding at us.
I think Ali Richmond's work on the right-hand side has been very good. Been a lot of hard work in other areas.
But let's see this out as Southgate gather on the edge of the circle. Beeston are 2 minutes away or thereabouts from 1 point.
Yes.
I think 3 points may be beyond them with the ball
Yeah.
in this position. What they don't want to do is come out of the game with none. There's a tumble in the circle.
Here we go. Now this is going to be the last counter-attack.
Well, that was a worrying pass.
It was. It's not the one.
There's a tumble again, and Beeston will get a chance. Well, they will have to defend here. Southgate, and that's an
Very good,
unbelievable
Toby Stanley.
sliding tackle from Toby Stanley.
Yeah.
Would you like to announce the player of the match?
Well, for me, I think this the comeback was created from Ali Richmond's work on the right-hand side, and I think for that alone, I think that's probably a good person for it to go to.
So this is last throw of the dice territory. Into the circle.
Oh,
There's
dear.
a chance there, and it's been
And
a
it's a
foot.
penalty
It's a
corner.
penalty corner. Well. Drama. This will be the final roll of the dice.
Well, if they recognise what happened in that last penalty corner, creating an opportunity off a slight move to get a powerful flick at the keeper, I think they might have to try something like that again.
But that was really nice movement from Griffiths to find the space.
A deflection that caused a bit of chaos.
Chaos is what you need sometimes, that combination of chaos and structure.
Is it written in the stars, or is it going to be 1-1?
What we can't tell is what the umpires have indicated, because doesn't look like it's full time, because Beeston have a player back on halfway.
Yeah. Well, they just need to concentrate on this set piece, and if they can create that flick opportunity.
It's low, it's come
Again.
off the goalkeeper, it's popped up in the air and hit away. There's a risk of danger there. And disappointing end to the game.
Yeah, I think they thought that was a corner. It should have been a further corner.
And are Southgate preparing for that? No, I think they are. No, everyone's decided it's handshakes, because it looked a little bit of an anticlimax. Is there, listen, we're looking to our umpiring expert here, is there scope to actually change the decision after the whistle's gone? No, so it will be a 1-1 final score. Drama right until the very end here on BTV.
Well, I think Southgate's keeper, they need to thank him a lot, because he's pulled off 3 or 4 super saves today.
1-1 the final score, and anticlimax.
Yes.
Beeston came very close. They grew into the game. Southgate definitely won the first half in terms of performance, not just goals scored.
Yeah.
But Beeston, in their final 25 minutes or so, started to turn up.
Yes, they did.
Made a difference, got the equaliser. And how many penalty corners was it in the end? Was it 8?
Something like that, yeah.
We'll go with 8 for lack of a better.
But Southgate's defensive shape and setup, I think, has made life very difficult for Beeston.
I think Stephen Wood is making his case to the
Yes.
umpiring team about the penalty corner award, but handshakes and nothing can be done now.
No.
But it's a point on the board for Beeston. That's let's just check this sequence. It'll be 1, 2, 3 games in a row with points for Beeston. That's their best sequence of the season.
It is.
A 1-1 draw against Brooklands away, followed by that win on the road to Cardiff and Met. 1-1 with Southgate today, and all set for a trip to Brooklands tomorrow.
Yeah. Just looking at the points, and you know they've still got the games to get the points, but they're getting close to relying on other results. We don't know what Brooklands have done today, so.
Also, it's has been another one in the sequence of draws between these two sides. 30th September 2023, 2-2. 26th of October 2024, 2-2. And then another one. It's 1-1 today. So Southgate didn't get the opportunity to get their first win here, despite going in the lead. First win since the 31st of January 1999. That wait will go on.
Yes.
And also they didn't get the opportunity to do the double over Beeston because of that earlier win this season.
Yeah.
Also popping on record my thanks to Colin Pike for sending through fantastic stat pack for the match today. So thank you, Colin, if you're watching. It is always appreciated. So tomorrow's lower six fixtures. So Brooklands Beeston is 2 o'clock, same as East Grinstead Reading, and also 2 o'clock Southgate Cardiff and Met. Who will feel happier with the points today, Moss?
Well, I think Southgate will be pleased to put another point in there. It just takes the distance between them, Brooklands and Beeston away. The consolation from Beeston's point of view, as you say, is that they've picked up points in the last 2 games. They're going to be waiting with bated breath to see what's happened with Brooklands' fixture today.
Yeah.
But somehow they've got to close a gap which has now become 5 points, hasn't it? To get anywhere near that third from bottom slot.
Drawing positives from everywhere, unbeaten in 3.
Yeah.
We look towards tomorrow and also next Saturday as well.
Yes.
It'll be Beeston Reading on the 28th of March 2026. We don't want to overhype these things on BTV because that's not the way we do it, but if this was big, then that's enormous.
Correct.
So we'll leave you with some pictures of the players warming down as we're getting towards the end of BTV today. It has been drama upon drama, and we are still waiting for confirmation of the result from Brooklands. It's a very steamy chapel this evening as well.
It is indeed.
We'll hold on this and come back in a moment or two. And we're back briefly from BTV to say thank you very much for your company. I thought we were going to have an interview, but that didn't quite flow through as expected. So thanks for persevering with us on BTV. Hopefully you've enjoyed the sight of the players warming down. I've been Andy Day. Thanks to Stephen Buston, who's been sitting alongside me. Thanks to the rest of the team who brought you BTV today. Do say hello wherever you're watching us. Your comments are always welcome. BeestonHockeyClub.com is where the match centre is, and BTV will be back next Saturday for the so big it's been spelled with 5 eyes, the match against Reading. That one is 6 o'clock on Saturday evening. Until then, see you later. Bye now.